Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and this time I wanted to make a video about another video that came out on the IGN channel on Code Vein, and this time we take a look at a boss fight in this game. So I just want to make a little short analysis on the boss fight itself, things that I've noticed, maybe things that people may have not noticed. And yeah, so in that video they are testing the boss fight, of course, with 4 different weapons. So they are trying and testing to kill the boss with 4 different weapons, and we have the halberd or the pole arms weapon, we have the two-hand hammer, we have the great sword, or should I say the huge saw blade, which is actually my favorite so far, and also the one-hand sword. Now about the boss fight, the first thing that probably everyone has noticed is the music. In my case, when I watched the video, I was not feeling good about the music, because I've played Dark Souls 3 and I was against Yhorm the Giant, and actually the music in Yhorm, when you fight Yhorm the Giant, it's really epic. It's really in an opera style, and it's really epic and all, and you're like, oh my god. So when I've watched the video and I saw it, and it was a letdown for me. But after watching and rewatching the boss fight in Code Vein, I started to feel better about the music, because I've remembered that Code Vein is not Dark Souls, so we have to really keep that in mind. It's not Dark Souls, and actually the world in Code Vein, it's not medieval, it's more like a steampunk, futuristic, apocalyptic, and military, like a military theme. There's a lot of themes like that in Code Vein, so I think the music is, so far I still feel a bit weird about the music, but I feel much better. I feel more comfortable because I kind of feel the atmosphere of the game. I feel more into it. I understand what they are going for, and I kind of like it. So now the other thing that I've noticed that might be not a really big discovery in this, but it kind of, I thought it was interesting, is the fact that the boss can actually parry your attacks. This boss, it might be specific to this boss because it has a shield, so I thought it was really in a split second. You don't see it for very long, you don't see it very often in the video. I think you see it only once. The boss is actually able to parry your attacks and to counter attack, and I think the guy from IGN actually dies when he gets parried. So anyways, generally speaking, I'm not gonna talk anymore about little things like that. So the first thing, I said the first thing, but I've already said the first thing, but yeah, it seems like this boss is an early game boss. It doesn't look like a boss that you fight in mid game or in end game. It really looks like a early game boss. So maybe it's the first one, maybe it's the second one, maybe it's the third one. I don't think it'll be higher than that in the game, but yeah. So this boss actually is pretty fast in terms of attack speed, but in terms of movement speed, it's pretty slow. Its attack pattern is actually really simple. It's not very hard to predict where it's going to attack or when. It's kind of really easy to dodge its attack, but some of its attacks can actually miss if you are in a very close range, and it actually happens sometimes in Dark Souls too. Some bosses can miss their attacks when you are very close to them. And also I've noticed that it gets distracted very often by the companion. And actually, about the companion, there's something that I've noticed. The companion is kind of it can be a liability. It can be a really big problem for you in a fight, because at the same time it does distract the boss, so it can put the fight away from you, so that you have time to heal, you have time to set up maybe more to use more gifts, more buffs for yourselves, but at the same time the companion takes a lot of damage when the boss starts to focus on him. And the problem with that is that you have to heal the companion, which means that, and heal the companion, it actually takes away your own health. You cannot heal you take away a portion of your health to heal the companion, or to revive it, or to revive him. So it's an issue. It's actually an issue. Of course you can put your companion away, you can have him away, you can run the boss fight without your companion, you can run the game actually without a companion. It's just a choice. It's just to add freedom, to add more, to leave the player make choices that they want. So you don't have to have your companion every time. You can take him away and be like on your own if you want, if you think he's a liability and you don't want him around because he annoys you, and maybe it's just too hard to manage your stuff with him around. So yes, the companion in my opinion is kind of a liability, but at the same time, like I said, the companion runs distraction for you. And what I've noticed, and what I was not really happy about, is that it's actually about the gameplay of the player, the person I was playing in the video. There were several opportunities to land a draining attack, but instead of landing a draining attack, they have been more focused on healing themselves because they have been taking so much damage from the boss, and instead they could have just landed a draining attack, which is very favorable because you can recharge your blood, charges, you can use more gifts at that moment. But of course, maybe I'm just talking about that, it might be harder than what I think, but honestly I've seen opportunities to land a draining attack. So yeah, talking about the blood charges, actually there's something that I've noticed that I didn't see in my previous videos about Code Vein. There is a little bar on under the blood charge number, like the number of charges you have, and it's filling a little bit every time you land an attack. So I thought that you could only get blood charges by only using your drain attack, and that's not the case. You can actually increase your number of blood charges by landing regular attacks, basic attacks with your weapon, and that would be more than enough. But also I think you can increase your maximum number of blood charges. So for example, in this video there were parts where it was like maybe 3 out of 10. If they landed a drain attack, I think a drain attack gives 2 more blood charges on your blood charge left, and on the number of blood charges you have left, and the maximum amount of blood charges you can carry. So it would have went up to maybe 7 out of 10, or maybe I think I said 5 out of 10, so it would be 7 out of 10, no, out of 12, 7 out of 12 at that moment. So those are little details that I've noticed. But something that is really actually super important is the boss health bar. You can see that the boss health bar is split in 3 sections. The first one is actually the first stage of the boss, which is very basic and very simple. The second section is the second stage of the boss, and then at that moment the boss will start having new types of attacks, new attack patterns, and maybe new skills. So in this case we see the boss, he started to teleport. He kind of, even in his movement, he started to like teleport a bit everywhere, and it's kind of really, it's kind of buzzing a bit for me. It's kind of it was kind of confusing sometimes, but I think it's actually cool because it kind of adds more difficulty. Now we have the third section, which is the third stage, and in the third stage there's a lot of things that started to change. The boss was really faster than it used to be, and it actually had new attacks, and one of them was a really huge AoE attack. But of course, what I've noticed that in that AoE attack, the boss is kind of vulnerable. He's kind of staying on the same point, but because it takes time for it to land the attack. So several times the player from IGN was able to dodge the attack, but they didn't do anything in that moment, and that's where I was kind of a bit disappointed in the way they approached that boss fight. There was a lot of things to do. Even if you are not, even if Code Vein is not out yet, if you've played Dark Souls, you will see that there are moments where the boss were very vulnerable. You could have landed a little attack or maybe a charge attack, something like that. You could have landed something, but they didn't do that, of course. And they've died like 3 times in the video, or 4, I think. So at the end of the day, they just ended the video with the sword, the one-hand sword, which is the basic weapon I think in the game. So yeah, that's it for the boss fight. But overall, I think it was really good. I think it was really cool to see it. I want to see more, but I'm pretty sure we will not see more boss fights. But I kind of I'm kind of imagining things that can happen in a boss fight because of all those stuff that we've seen. It looks really interesting to me. I think this game really has a good potential to be a good game. And actually, the boss reminds me of a monster in God Eater, which is the Chi-Yu, I think. Not in its appearance, but a bit in its appearance, but also kind of in the way it was attacking. It wasn't really fast on movement speed, but in terms of attack speed, it was really something. So it looks really interesting. I'm looking forward for more. I don't know if we have any more information about Code Vein during this month, because we had a lot of information actually for just 1 month, and I think there's something like an event with Bandai Namco, so I don't think we'll have any more information for the rest of the month about Code Vein. And it's kind of bad for me because I want to cover it a bit more. I will make more videos because there were several videos that were released on the IGN channel where they revealed more information, where they said more things. So I'll just make one video where I will summarize everything, make it simple. So yeah, this is it for Code Vein. I think for this month, I believe we won't have any more anyways. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you all